You know, one thing that like I think about all the time that's pretty crazy. Cyberpunk 2077.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you and I, you know, go in for an oil change every so often, we are on track to be alive in the year 2077.
Yeah.
Which is kind of bonkers to me. Like, I feel like in the 80s, they would be like, in the future. And the future year was always like 2011. So Cyberpunk obviously was like, well, let's go a little farther than that. We don't want, you know, 2077. I'll be 80 something. You'll be maybe 80, maybe 70.
That is so wild.
But yeah, we are on track as long as we don't die super early to be alive.
And
in 2077.
I think it looking like that game is not that crazy. You know, there's the idea, just like the exponential speed of technology.
Yeah.
You know, it's just kind of going up at this point. And we're going to have more change in the next 10 years than we've had like in the last 100. It's just things are getting so crazy.
I think you're right, man. Like I think about like my mom. My mom's 72, 71, 72. Can't remember. I'm a bad son. When she was born, one kid on the block had a television in their house. The way to listen to music was a record player. There wasn't even like tape players. You know, and now she has an iPad.
Right.
You know, like
with AI in it, you know.
Exactly, right? Like, what is the differential from her being 35? Because my mom was actually 35 when I was born in 1988 to now. Pretty big, right? So what is it from me at 35 to when I'm 70? You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like it's something that hasn't been created. Like, it's something that we can't even fathom yet. I think stuff is traveling so fast and just progressing so exponentially that whatever our version of that looks like we can't even comprehend it. It hasn't been invented. It's not even a thing yet.
Yeah.
And we're going to look back, and it could be something as crazy as like, you know, what everybody has today is a smartphone where they physically carry around. It's just something that's in your mind and you see it and you're looking back and you're like, yeah, back in the day we used to carry these things around in our pocket.
They were hold
physical
something
things
in my hand like a loser.
Yeah, exactly. Like it could be something like that, or I mean, even way further than that. I think in 10 or 20 years there's going to be things that we can't even conceive right now.
Yeah.
And that in itself is kind of terrifying. Just the unknown. It's absolutely the unknown.
It really is, man. And not to make the conversation about Cyberpunk too much, but there's things in that game specifically. I know you've played it, but for the listener, if you've played it, like some of it I think is embellished, right? They wanted it to be a cool environment, so there's like big hologram fishes flying around. But there are elements of that. Like I think it's very realistic to say that the cars will still drive around on tires in 2077.
Yeah.
Like there's elements of that are like, no, we're not flying around. But also like, yeah, technology comes into the body at that point. You know what I mean? You mentioned like being able to like basically see your telephone's interface like in your mind. I think, and this is just a guess, this is baseless because I'm just like, this is what I've seen, this is what I think it's headed. I think the crazy like technological innovations that have happened in the last 20 years, like iPods and iPhones and smart cars and all that shit, I think we're going to see less of that. I think we're going to see more of the innovations starting to happen like in the ether, like in the computer generated world. I very much anticipate, but before I die, they're going to be able to put like a little diode on my temple, and it is literally going to send electronic signals into my brain, and that's the video game. Like it literally makes your brain think that you are in a situation that you're not phically in. Have you ever seen Black Mirror? They do that in a couple of their episodes where it's literally like their eyes roll back. Like in the game. Which to me,
I mean, everything's. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, to me that sounds awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
No, it does, and I think in a world where everything's going digital anyway, like the idea of going away from physical devices makes sense. You know, I mean, our money is now just a number on a screen. You know, it's no longer a physical thing. Everything's online. You know, I think the physical world just kind of becoming less and less.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I think too, like, I think that's sorry, not to cut you off, man, but the last thing I'll say is I think there's merit behind that, because as we roll out more and more iPhones, like I've only had an iPhone since 2015 and I've thrown 5 of them away. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
We are generating a lot of trash with our technology, and I'm not trying to be like a tree hugger about this. I'm legitimately saying, like, I think driving it in a direction where I don't need a phone or I don't need a computer. I am the computer.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I think I'm talking now. I'm the conspiracy theorist, man.